everyone, welcome back. We are standing in front of a new investment property that Terrance just got. Terrance, what are we standing in front of?
So there's a single family home here. It looks pretty normal from the front steps, but behind it, there's an ADU, which is what makes this property a winner. And that's why we bought it.
And an ADU is additional dwelling unit. That's what we call it here in Denver. Other places call it carriage houses, granny flats. It's those little houses behind the house, above the garage, 1 or 2 bedroom type living spaces. So a lot of people are buying those now in Denver for density reasons, and it's a great play. So let's talk about this area of town, because This is in the West Highlands, which is a hot part of town. I'm sure that's one of the reasons you bought it, right?
Yeah, so for us, this is more of a long-term hold. So it's not an apartment and it's not a flip. It's a house that we're gonna do some work in the exterior, and we're gonna paint. You'll see we're doing some painting right now to the interior of the home, and we're gonna rent it and hopefully hold it for 5, 10, 15 years. We really believe in this area long-term. It's continuing to redevelop. When we do the drone footage, you'll be able to see a bunch of new developments, all within 6, 12 blocks of here. Really cool coffee shops, bars, and places to walk and cool park. So it's an area that we really wanna hold long-term.
All right, where'd you get this deal?
It's not sexy at all. It's very boring. We found it on the MLS.
But sexy doesn't always win. A deal is a deal.
That's right. It is a deal. What happened was it was listed for 3 or 4 months. It was a flat rate brokerage, which basically tells you that the sellers are very price conscious. So they were not budging on price for 2 or 3 months. Then December hits. They needed to move by the end of the month. The agent called us and said, hey, if you guys can close quickly, I think you can get it at around the number you want. And so we were able to close within 21 days at a number that worked for us and worked for them, and it worked out. But it was on the MLS.
Great. And so what type of financing did you use to buy this property?
So because we do a lot of deals with this one bank, we have a warehouse line of credit. And so basically we were able to get 90% financing. And so we came with 10%, and then we had to finance the construction. And we are gonna do some work in the back on the ADU. They were using it, they had the storage and laundry. So they already had water lines and a kitchenette. So we are gonna make it into a 1-bedroom, which we'll show you. So we are putting some money back there. So we had to bring 10% plus the construction.
So, generally speaking, for the average person out there buying a rental property, the first couple, they're not getting a 10% down type deal.
Right.
So what's the relationship with the bank, and what's the loan structure? Is it an ARM, or what is it?
Yeah, so it's 5-year fixed. We got it at 4.4%, and we pay interest only for 2 years. So the thinking is that we can make the improvements. We'll get tenants in here. We'll lease the ADU, and then we'll have it stabilized for 6 months, a year, and then we'll be able to go and get a 30-year fixed mortgage on it at that point.
Right. So you're basically doing almost a delayed burst strategy.
Right.
You're not coming here doing it in 60 days, but with over a year or so time frame, you're putting it for cheaper money, lower down, improving it, getting the rents, let the market appreciate a little bit, then 30-year fixed financing.
That's the plan, yeah. And because we've done 5, 6, 7 deals with the same bank, they're comfortable with our strategy. They know that we perform. They're comfortable with our business model. We've been able to get that, and I think that's open to a lot of investors that have been doing business for a while. But if you're just starting out, you could have found. Well, what are you seeing with your clients? I'm guessing 20, 25% down and a 30-year fixed.
Yeah, typically our clients are either doing like a 30-year fixed. For this property, it'd be like a 20, 25% down. 4.5, 4.75 interest rate, or they'll do a 5 or 7-year ARM with 20% down, right around like a low 4 interest rate.
So we'll be able to walk through more of the finances in the deal analysis, but we are able to get a little bit more leverage because of our track record. But if you're just starting out, just find one institution that you can build a relationship with, prove yourself, and then as you grow, you'll be able to get improved financing and more leverage.
All right, let's go walk the property.
Let's check it out.
Game plan.
So basically, we were looking at how many bedrooms does it have? In this area, it's gonna be a family, and they're gonna be willing to pay more based on the number of bedrooms. So this house, most of the homes in this neighborhood that are not renovated have 2 or 3 bedrooms and 1 bathroom. And this one actually had 4 bedrooms that are all conforming, and it had the 4th bedroom in the basement with egress windows. So that was really nice. It had an updated kitchen that we don't really have to touch, and the bathroom's good enough that we didn't really have to renovate it. So as you can see, we're gonna clean the carpets. The carpets are kind of gross. And then we're gonna paint the entire house, give it kind of a refresh, and that's it. So the goal will be to spend less than $1,000 on the interior of the home and then renovate the ADU.
And this is the master bedroom.
This is the
which,
master, yeah.
By some standards, it's a very small master bedroom, but this part of town and the age of this property, this is par for the course. And actually, since it has its own bathroom, it's better than a lot of properties around here.
When it was built 100 years ago, this was like a perfectly fine master. Obviously now it's a little small, but that's what you get in this neighborhood. So as you can see, the bathroom's fine, a little outdated tile, but it works. Vanity outdated, light fixture, everything's a little outdated, but it'll rent just fine.
Something too, I was noticing a lot of these windows look like they're updated.
The windows are all
vinyl
functioning.
Windows.
Yeah, the windows are all functioning. Some of them are vinyl.
Yeah.
Has the closet, is big enough for this to be counted a bedroom. So this could be someone's either storage, office space, or fourth bedroom, and they get to share the bathroom there.
Then over here was like laundry room, mud room.
Yeah, so they had a pretty good sized mud room, laundry room, connected to the kitchen. Same thing, the hardwoods are good enough. We didn't even have to refinish them. The kitchen appliances are newer. The countertops were newer.
Did this come with the property?
Yeah, so that came with the property, yeah. Yeah, so got a little bonus there on closing day. But yeah, so pretty standard. And that's kind of what we look for in good neighborhoods that we know will rent really quickly just because of the location and all the amenities around the area. We just look for, how many bedrooms is gonna be, how many bathrooms, how much work. And this home fit all the boxes. We had 4 bedrooms, they were all conforming. We didn't really have to do much besides paint and clean the carpets. And then the bonus was the ADU. So it was pretty simple, harder to find, but for most people this time of year and with the seller being pretty stuck on their price, that's what created the opportunity to get it done.
Great, well, let's go check out the basement, finish out this, then we'll go check out the ADU.
Let's do it.
All right, so we're staying in the 4th bedroom, which is the basement. What I like about this a lot, Terrance, is you already have 2 egress windows in here. Now, I know a lot of people, depending on where you live around the country, they don't know what a basement is,
right?
And they certainly don't know what an egress window is. So what is that?
Yeah, for most people, they're like, what are you talking about, egress window, no big deal. In Denver, it's a big deal because this means that the 4th bedroom is conforming. So what that means is we can get more in rent, and even better than that, it lowers our liability. Because if we were renting this with normal windows that were not dug out, and if there was a fire and someone got injured, we would be held responsible, and that could be a 7-figure lawsuit, which is no bueno. So the homeowner had already installed egress windows because they were using this as an office/bedroom for their family and guests when they were in town. So that saved us, typically these are permitted. They're between $2,500 and $3,000 each. So what we got is an extra $5,000 or $6,000 in value with the home, lowers our liability, and increases what the home is worth to a tenant.
And what we look for here in Colorado is that you have to have 2 points of egress. So a lot of times, say we got the stairwells, we got the door, but as Terrance said, if there's a fire they can't get out, this is the 2nd point of egress.
That's right.
So very important, maximize rent, and most importantly, hey, who cares about $3,000? You care about a 7-figure lawsuit.
100%, yeah. So something simple, but something we look for that added a lot of value on the purchase. So.
And something else, because we look at a lot of basements at rental properties, and this is kind of standard stuff for Denver, maybe 6.5 feet tall.
6.5, yeah.
You guys already have recessed lighting. Was this something you put in, or was this already done?
Oh yeah, they did it. I think it was the same thing. Just if they would have had light fixtures, it would have been down under 6. It would have been hitting someone in the head, which again wouldn't have been good for guests and liability. So they installed the recessed lighting, which again would have been maybe $800 to $1,000 to do this. So it's nice that it's already done for us.
Now, looking at this, lower ceiling in Denver, have you ever found this to diminish rent or diminish demand?
Yeah, as long as we're not renting to college basketball players or professional basketball players, it's normally not an issue. They're under 7 feet tall. And it's pretty standard, especially in these kind of neighborhoods. I think what people will like is that it's going to be freshly painted, has hardwood floors, and it's going to have some nice natural light with the egress. So this will actually be a bonus to what most tenants will see around the neighborhood.
Great. And so for this property, for just this main house, what do you expect in rent?
So when we underwrote it, we had $2,800, but our property manager is actually listing it for $3,400. She thinks that there's a fewer number of units available in this neighborhood. Most of these people here are owners. They're not landlords. Most of the owners in the neighborhood. So we have it listed for $3,400 right now. Anything over $3,000 will be a win. Yeah, so let's just ballpark $3,000, and we'll jump into more of those finances at the end of the video. So make sure you check that out. All right, let's go check out the ADU. Let's do it. All right, so we got the ADU behind us. Again, this stands for Additional Dwelling Unit here in Denver. And I know this excites me about the property. I'm guessing this is one of the main reasons you bought the property as well, right? Yeah, exactly. I mean, if it didn't have this, we'd basically just be looking at $3,000 a month. And so $36,000 for the year in rental income, and then a mortgage on a home that's $515,000. You'd basically be barely clearing it. It just
not a
wouldn't
great
be,
rental, though.
It wouldn't really make sense for our model. But because of this, it made sense. So basically, this is 800 square feet. They were using it for laundry, storage, and a workstation. And so we're going to be able to make it a 1-bedroom with a kitchenette, a laundry room, and a closet. And so this will be someone in this neighborhood. We think we can get $1,200 to $1,400 a month, just a regular tenant. So then we're talking about $3,000 plus $1,200, so $4,200 a month. That's a big difference in terms of a return. And so that's why this all made sense.
And ADUs are like one of the things that's all the rage right now in Denver, from the renter standpoint and from like a sales standpoint down the road, because we have a housing shortage.
Right.
So, great. Any place that you can rent, people are going to gobble up and pay great rent for.
Right.
And Denver just early this year passed a big new plan to rezone a lot of Denver for more ADUs. A lot of homeowners becoming more interested in it. So as a long-term rental or exit strategy, this is a huge cherry on the top.
Yeah, in cities like New York, Chicago, LA that have a lot of shortage of housing, the same thing, they're actually doing new zoning to encourage people to have ADUs so they can have a safe, comfortable place to live, because apartments are not getting built at the same rate, and it's so expensive to build right now. So we think this is going to be something really nice, which is why we want to hold it for a long time. We think this neighborhood, this will be able to pay off in a short amount of time.
So if you're in Denver, you're curious, go Google Denver Blueprint or Blueprint Denver, and you'll get all the plans for what they're doing here. All right, let's go inside.
Awesome.
All right, so we're standing in, must be the living room area in here. Lots going on. Walk us through the rehab.
So this is pretty complex. Basically, we're going to redo the siding on the exterior. There was some water damage. We're going to repair the roof. And then inside, we're basically making this a 1-bedroom apartment. So we're adding all new plumbing. So we're going to increase the water line so that they can have a laundry facility, a shower, and a larger kitchen. So we're going to do all new kitchen cabinets, all new kitchen countertops. We're going to do our standard backsplash with the shelves. And then in the 1-bedroom, we're going to have French doors for them to exit and have their own kind of patio sitting area. They're going to have a closet. So this will be it'll feel like a small home. It'll be like an 800 square foot 1-bedroom with laundry, kitchen, living space, a full bathroom, and then a bedroom.
So, you've got, looks like an old garage door out here. You're getting rid of that, right?
So yeah, the garage door is coming down. They had siding that just had mold and had been deteriorated from just not taking care of it over the last 40, 50 years. So we are going to redo some siding exterior, and this whole thing, we're going to add insulation. We're adding electric baseboard heat. And then in the bedroom, we're going to add a mini split system. And a mini split is just a low voltage heating and air conditioning unit that is going to add some AC and a nice amenity when it gets hot in the summer.
So, this is a much more extensive rehab than paint over here.
Right.
What are you all in here?
We're going to be around $60,000 in here.
Okay.
So basically, we bought the house for around $515. Add $60,000 here. We're going to be in around $575 and should be collecting between $4,000 and $4,500 a month total.
And that's including the sewer work and everything for about $60K for here?
$60,000 total. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The sewer work, it was galvanized pipe, and it had been corroded. I think there was a belly, so we are redoing the sewer line. And yeah, in Denver, that's standard as well for homes that are 100 years old that don't have the PVC pipe for the water line.
All right, well, let's go walk the outside.
Sounds good.
All right, so we're back out in the backyard between the ADU and the main house, and you've dug up the sewer line here.
Right.
Which every time I help clients buy properties, I buy properties, you buy properties, we always scope the sewer.
Right.
So what's the story here?
Yeah, in other markets that we've bought, it seems like no one even looks at the sewer line, but in Denver, it's like a major issue. And I don't know if it has to do with the water, the mountains, a combination, the soil, but yeah, this sewer line it hadn't been touched in basically 80 years, and it was part galvanized and then part clay, and basically there was bellies, corroded, and it was just disgusting. So part of the budget was to redo the entire sewer line and water line, and that cost anywhere from, depending on the size of the line, this one's like 45 feet, but we've spent up to like $15,000, $20,000 on lines that are 100 feet and longer. This one happens to go to the alley, so it's a little shorter, but yeah, you have to replace the entire thing. And this just ensures that the tenants aren't gonna have clogged sinks, aren't gonna have sewage coming back up through the pipes, and have a bad experience as a tenant.
And with, I'm assuming this ADU is like most, where you have the main sewer line and they tie in together from the house and the ADU, right?
That's right. It's going to have a Y and they'll tie in together.
Yeah.
So that was just another reason to replace it. We want to make sure that the pipes are good and there's no issues with plumbing. I think one of the biggest issues that tenants would say they have is they hate having, your house smell like sewage, the toilet doesn't flush, things are coming back up through the sink or through the laundry. And for us to have good tenants and get max rents, we want to make sure that they have no plumbing issues.
Well, plus it just minimizes headache, minimizes maintenance repairs down the road, like do all the work right now and get it done right.
Absolutely.
All right, so you're talking about doing a privacy fence to give a separate living space. What's the vision?
Yeah, so basically the tenant in the home is going to have a fence from here to there. So this will all be their yard. So the tenant in the house can have a pet, can have their outdoor space, can have furniture. And then the ADU will have the same thing. They'll have a fence that goes from their entrance all the way down on the side of the home, and this will be their outdoor space, so they could have a pet as well. And in Colorado, a lot of young professionals, a lot of singles, they want to have pets. That's kind of their...
Oh, it's a huge demand, the rental market for pets, yeah.
Exactly. So this will be there. They'll be able to have furniture, have their own outdoor space. So both tenants should be able to have privacy, have their outdoor space, have a place for their pets, and keep everybody happy.
That's wonderful. All right, let's go walk out this side of the building. All right, well, that's a wrap for this house. Let's go back to the office and talk some numbers.
Let's do it.
And talk some numbers. All right, so we're back in the studio. We're going to run through numbers on the house with an ADU. And this is going to be slightly different from the other videos we've done because there's no exit strategy. This is one keeping as a rental property. So the ADU is accessory dwelling unit. It's that detached carriage house, granite flat out back by the garage. And so, Terrance, let's jump through numbers here. You bought this for $515,000, right?
Yes, it was on the market. The seller was distressed, and we were able to close pretty quickly. So we got $25,000 off list, which in today's Denver market at this price point in this neighborhood, it's off West Colfax. It's in an area that we really like. So that I felt pretty good about that purchase price.
I mean, that's a really good purchase price.
Especially with the ADU, yeah.
So down payment, you did 10%. What was the financing like on here?
So I had a local bank that I built a relationship with. I got 4.4% interest rate, 10% down, and was 5-year fixed. Most people are not going to be able to get 10% down on a single family investment property, but if you build a relationship with a bank and perform, that is out there.
So all in, you're at right around 4% interest rate. All in, you'll be bringing about $50,000 or $60,000 to closing table.
That's right.
And then you're estimating about $65,000 in development costs, right?
Yeah, we had to paint the interior of the home. We had to repair some plumbing, and then the ADU we had to completely renovate. So it's like an 800 square foot, 1 bedroom with a French door with a patio. I mean, we decked it out. Brand new AC, brand new furnace. We wanted to make it nice because it'll bring in a lot of income.
And most of that development cost is going towards an ADU, right?
That's right.
Yeah. And that's pretty typical. Like, even though it's a small home, it's a small home.
That's right.
They're expensive to redevelop. All right, so let's talk about your numbers while you're doing it. So you are rehabbing both the house and the ADU. So you're getting $0 of rent, $0 in RUBS. So vacancy across both units. Your interest is about $1,700 a month, or so your mortgage payment. Utilities about $100. Taxes, $183, insurance, about $85 a month. So that gives you just over a $2,000 a month, payment in your carrying cost. And you expect about 3 months to get it all ready?
Yes, we are in the final stages, and it was 3 months.
All right. So altogether, not much in carrying costs compared to multis, but still we're talking $6,000, $7,000, $8,000. So once it's rented out, and what were the numbers you expect the rent for the house to go for?
We were projecting $2,800, and right now it's at $2,895, and I think there's a couple applicants, so we're gonna, I think, hit our number.
Oh, great! So that might be better on here. And then what's the ADU going for?
Trying to get $1,200, and I've been seeing some other properties in the area go for $1,250, $1,300, so I feel pretty good about $1,200.
I mean, both those numbers sound spot on for me for that area, especially for the finishes you're doing. And then RUBS, $1,800 a year. And so, how is the utility situation with the house with ADU?
So we are going to bill it back. It's on one water meter and one electric meter. So we'll have to bill them both back.
Okay. So you'll collect some money for RUBS to offset that. We're assuming a 3% vacancy, which, I mean, I know a lot of landlords do have single-family homes around Denver. A lot of them are running like a sub 1% vacancy right now in the current market. So 3% is pretty realistic. So you'll be just under $50,000 a year in effective gross income. So let's run through the numbers on here. Your taxes about $2,200 a year. Insurance, $1,250 a year. Utilities, $1,800 a year. $1,000 repairs and maintenance. So that's pretty low because it's a fully rehab property, right?
Brand new. That's right.
Yeah. And property management, 7% for some of the management. Office expenses, well, really not many for a house. And grounds, we put 0 in here because you divided the yards and you're saying, hey, tenants, you're responsible for upkeep and snow removal, right?
Yeah, in our single family homes that we have rented in Des Moines and in Denver, the tenants are responsible for lawn care and snow removal.
Okay. So altogether, and then point away $1,000 a year for replacement reserves for when you eventually have to replace a roof or, whatever the work you have to do. You're just at $11,000 a year in expenses. So that's going to give you a net operating income of almost $39,000 a year. And your operating expense is about 22%, which is a lot lower than what we're talking about with multis. But when you look at single family homes, there's a lot broader range. But really, when you get those homes with ADUs, because you get such a higher rent amount from both units, your OpEx is usually a lot lower and a lot of times the low 20s on here.
Right.
So no surprise here. And then let's talk about your monthly cash flow. $3,300 a month NOI minus your mortgage payment about $1,700 a month. Your cash flow is about $1,600 a month. And your plan here is to refinance at some point, right?
Yeah, we think that in the next 12, 18, maybe 24 months, we'll be able to go back to that same bank, refinance, put it on a longer term note now that we have some rental history and pull out some cash. Between the development and the down payment, we're going to be into it for about $120. So if we can pull half of that out and we still cash flow, rents continue to increase. And just because this area, this land is actually zoned to be able to build a home with a brand new ADU as well. So like an apartment above a garage. So I think in this area, I think the land alone, we'll be able to sell it, if we hold it for 10, 15 years for a big number. So our plan here is to hold. We like the neighborhood. It's going to cash flow. So this is a rare one for me, but we're going to hold it as long as we can.
Yeah. And then, so basically you're doing what a lot of people in BiggerPockets want to do, which is the BRRRR strategy, the buy, rehab, rent, refinance, repeat.
Right.
And you're doing it probably what, for like an 18-month period till you're
Yeah, I think realistically 18 months. I'm not really in a hurry. I think, we're getting a good return on the capital. We believe in the area long term. So yeah, 18 months we'll refinance.
And I think it's a really good thing to point out because a lot of people want to, the burring in Denver is incredibly tough right now just with our market cycle and really low inventory. But if you take that longer term mindset, longer term,
Right.
more than 90 days, 120 days, where you're looking at year and a half, 2 years, like it makes it a lot more realistic. Or you can actually pull out probably not all your money, but a good chunk of it. And you'll have a great asset here that actually cash flows more a month than this probably once you refinance it.
That's right.
Yeah. Great. So you guys have questions on here, reach out to me, reach out to Terrance, or join us on the show on Walk Property.
That's right. Come on the show.
Thanks, guys.